Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. The objective of this channel is to document my journey towards answering the question of whether or not I should stay in academia after 10 years of being in it, or if I should quit it altogether. So, one of the reasons that I was feeling really overwhelmed, I am still feeling overwhelmed, is because of all the constant demands that have been placed upon me as an academic to be a good citizen to not just my department but my university, but also the wider academic community, right? And we do the things that they ask or that people ask of us. We say yes to being at open days. We say yes to marketing our programs, to marketing our university. We say yes to providing pastoral care to our students. We say yes to counseling sessions for our students. We say yes to extra office hours. We say yes to helping a colleague mark. We say yes to mentoring a younger colleague, even though a lot of these things are not written in our job description. We do it, but over time we find that because we say yes to all of these things, then the time left for us to do the things that we love, that we came into academia to do in the first place, we don't have that anymore. For example, I came into academia because I wanted to read to my heart's content. And I find that by doing all of these things, by saying yes to so many different people, I now don't have time to read. And then I have to farm out reading to somebody else to scope out the literature review so that I only read the bite-sized information that they present to me. I don't want to do that. I want to read the literature for myself. I want to read a whole book on feminism and organizational culture, for example. So what I've begun to do to try and relinquish this time to do the things I love to do in academia, and why I came to academia in the first place, is to say no. And that is so hard to do. I have been saying no. I have been trying to coach myself to say no for a long time, and I think I'm still learning to do that over the years. I have become better. And one thing I've learned to do this is to eliminate situations where I have to say no. So how do I do this? How do I not give people the opportunity? Uh, how do I not give people the opportunity to present me with an opportunity to say no? So what I've done is I set up my autoresponders to people outside my organization, right? So, and I'm going to read this, excuse me, but I'm going to read this email autoresponder that I've set up for you. And I say, just helping people to understand my workload. I am an editor-in-chief for a international journal. So I say things, thank you for reaching out. I have a high workload and I often receive over 100 emails per day. So it's sadly impossible for me to respond to every message. And it is true. I used to try and respond to every message and it overwhelms me and it makes me really unhappy. So I say, please don't take offense if you don't hear back. Then I say, in what circumstances where I would normally say no, but I don't want to give people the opportunity to say no now. So I say, please note that I can no longer read unsolicited manuscripts or abstracts of manuscripts. I get that a lot. So I get sent too many, which delay my feedback to my own doctoral students and my research team. So I'm saying no to everyone. It's unfortunate, but you are still welcome to submit manuscripts directly to Tourism Management Perspective, which is my journal that I am editor for, and we will review them there. So that immediately means that I don't have to say, oh, I'm sorry, thank you for your email asking me to read your manuscripts, but I can't. So that immediately takes away a big chunk of my time replying to these bulk emails of replying to these kinds of emails. Then I also say things like, because I get a lot of emails asking me about my opinion about a special issue proposal. So I say, we have many in the pipeline that we need to concentrate on completing, so we are not taking any special issue proposals at the moment. Then I also say, I have no capacity to supervise postgraduate and doctoral work or visiting scholars. And then I explain that I currently supervise 6 doctoral projects and mentor early career researchers. And I want to give those whom I had already committed to the care and respect that they expect and deserve, right? So I do this. And then I also get asked to do a lot of speaking for universities, but I may not necessarily be remunerated for my time. And oftentimes it takes, the traveling to the place takes a lot of time. And the logistics of arranging for these kinds of travel take a lot of time. And I don't think it's fair that I am not remunerated for my time to do this. So I say I'm taking a break from most unpaid speaking engagements, and then explain why. And then I said I don't respond to cold email intros, and explain why. And I said thank you for your understanding, and hopefully this approach, my new approach to email management, will result in more focused work on my part, and that I can become a more efficient and happy academic. So that's one strategy, one coping strategy for me, is to eliminate situations where I have to say no. But I also sometimes I've said yes to people that I've committed to, and this just happened 2 weeks ago, where someone said, "Can you please give a talk on an online panel on women? They need someone to talk about women." And I said yes. And then so this was referred to me by someone else, and I said yes to this person, and then this person put me in touch with the organizer, and the organizer then sent me a whole list of the questions that will be asked during the panel session. And I looked at the questions and I'm like, this is not what I'm about. This is about sustainability, and the focus on women is so small. So somewhere in the middle, someone's miscommunicated, and I have said yes to something that that is clearly not in my expertise. And I stressed for a little bit, and I think, okay, now what I'm going to do, I've said yes, but I really want to say no. So should I just, spend a lot of time reading up about women in sustainability and sustainable, whatever questions they want me to ask, prepare a lot of time for it, or should I just say no? And I decided to say no. But how I did it was a little bit more different. So because I've said yes, I didn't want to inconvenience them, right? So I decided to find someone else better than me who can do the job. And I said, okay, let me put you in touch. This is not my area. Let me put you in touch with someone else who can do the job better than I can. And so you want to minimize the loss or the damage that you may cause the people that you've said yes to. And the third strategy for saying no is actually not to explain why you are saying no, because I find that when I explain why I say no, people tend to come back with a counter offer or counter proposal, and then it makes it really hard for you to say no. And then I find myself being in situations where I actually mean no, and I said no, and then they counter propose, and then I said yes, and then I regret saying yes, and then I regret saying yes. 2 weeks later, 2 months later, even 2 years later, it comes back to bite you. So now I learn to say no, and not have to respect that I don't have to give an explanation. So you hear them out, and then you say things like, thank you for asking, but I'm not going to be able to do that. And that's it. No explanation needed. Therefore, they don't have any reason to counter propose. Because if you say, like, I'm not able to do that because I don't have time this week, and then they say, oh, but we can accommodate you. How about next week or 2 weeks later? So I don't do that anymore. I just say, thank you, but I'm not going to be able to do that forever. Not this week, not next week. I'm not going to be able to do that. End of story. So you don't have to give explanations or reasons for not wanting to do things you don't want to do. You are totally entitled to that, and you can do that, because there are so many more things that you will do that you are passionate about doing. So I think I have to learn to do this more often, and being aware of what I don't want to do and sticking with it. So I hope that this will help you do the same. Bye.